This is Wrestling Republic. Wrestling Republic. This is Wrestling Republic. Wrestling Republic. This is Wrestling Republic. Wrestling Republic. This is Wrestling Republic.
Oh, it's on Jordy to kick things off. StreamYard's got a mind of its own still.
You caught me on guard there. I was looking at the screen and looking at myself like, why is this guy not talking?
Anyway, good evening from Swansea wrestling fans. I'm your host, Ben Allison, and you're watching Wrestling Republic's daily broadcast. It is the day after the Raw, after WrestleMania, and it was certainly an interesting one. A lot of surprises, and for once, at least to me, it lived up to the hype. But I do have a great panel with me. One of them you just saw. How are you today, Jordy?
I'm good. And yeah, see, Raw after Mania, plenty of surprises, and we continued the surprises with me opening the show. The only issue is I wasn't aware of that surprise. So I just got caught. But and like I said earlier, guys, we have to be very careful about what we say now, because otherwise Gunther's going to come and choke us out. So I'm going to be very down the middle. I'm going to be very down the middle, very on the fence. Nothing I say is going to be too controversial, because I don't want a sleeper hold.
Well, not only that, according to Triple H, we can't critique anything now either. So, I mean, we really are backed into a corner. We can't critique about anything. Otherwise, we'll annoy the chief content officer and Gunther. I mean,
they should just join forces, and Triple H should just be his manager at ringside. They both hate critics. They got that in common. Don't worry, Jordy. If you got choked out by Gunther, we'd be like the guest on the Pat McAfee show, and we'd try and fight him off, fight the security guards off for you, mate. Don't worry.
Let him know.
Oh gosh, but how are you today, Archie?
I'm doing good, mate. Raw After Mania was a fantastic show. I thought it was probably one of the best Raw After Manias I've watched live for quite a while, and it did what Raw After Mania should do, which is get you excited for the next chapter and next season of WWE. So I'm excited to talk about it, and let's get into it.
Absolutely. Ewan says Jordy is the new CEO now. Number one says hello. Fernando says last night was one of the best Raws after WrestleMania ever. Ooh. And DCX Warlord is saying, what day is it, Jordy, again?
Right. Yeah, you caught me. Off guard.
Oh,
it's Tuesday, right? Is it a day? Oh, it's my anniversary, actually. It is my
happy anniversary!
It is my wedding anniversary today. Hello, Justine, my beautiful wife. Happy anniversary.
DCX Warlord secretly a wife or something, and
maybe it's also Earth Day, so shout out.
I was thinking Rusev Day. That's what I was thinking. Rusev Day.
Oh right.
Oh, well, none of us thought that, did we?
I went right over you guys' heads.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah. Oh, what a start to the show. We're 3.5 minutes in, and it's been an absolute blinder.
Fernando says Raw was a bit better than Mania Night 1. We got shot in the comments as well. And Caden says it's super spear time. We're going to get into all of that and more. But before we do, let's talk about John Cena, because his promo last night, I personally loved. That countdown where it showed the date, it created a sense of urgency, like they need to get the championship off him fast. And I hope they continuously show that on every appearance he's on, like it's taking down the chance of him escaping with that championship and becoming more and more likely. But of course, Randy Orton, RKO out of nowhere. They are running it back once again. Jordy, what are your thoughts?
I'm a happy man. And not because it's my anniversary. But that's a different story. We've been there. No, they're running it back. Listen, we saw it. Well, I'm gonna say I saw it coming. I hoped it was coming when I saw Randy on the poster for Backlash. I really hoped, and I know this isn't for everyone, but it is for me. And I'm smiling my way to St. Louis. I'm not actually going. I'm looking forward to this match. Like, I know the pace of it might not be what people want or whatever, but I just think maybe it is completely biased, and it's my love for these two gentlemen. They deserve the chance to run it back again. They've earned that chance. They've earned the right to be able to do that, and doing it in Randy's hometown. Like, it's 2025. We're gonna go to Randy's neck of the woods, and he's gonna be the face against a heel John Cena. Like, that's what's different about it this time, and that's what really does kind of excite me. I loved John swearing when he turned around and saw Randy and got hit with the RKO. The only thing that I would have liked more about this, but it can't be helped, and I hope KO is recovering better, is that if this was on the back of the momentum of a punt kick to KO at WrestleMania, because that looks like where we were headed, to see Randy kind of lose it a little bit again and see that essentially 09 Orton versus a heel Cena. It's just it's poetry to me, but I understand that it's not the case for everyone else.
No, I'm going to be honest, Jordy. I do agree. And I said this on Allison Analysis, which will come out in a couple of hours' time. But basically, this is not going to be a 5-star match. This is not going to be some classic. It's not going to be, Omega Okada or anything like that. But what it will be is nostalgic. What it will be is fun. And to your point, the St. Louis crowd, I mean, they are going to be on fire for Randy Orton. And at Mania, we saw the crowd were kind of rooting for Cena a little bit. He's not going to have that same luxury in St. Louis. So it is going to be interesting. What are your thoughts, Archie?
So, yeah, I thought this was the perfect way to follow up from a historic moment of John Cena winning number 17. I just love the fact that his whole promo once again is based on the fans. It's just he just completely obliterated the fans, rightfully calling out how kind of fickle they were, saying, this was Cody Rhodes was a guy last year that we had on our shoulders. You were clamoring to face Roman Reigns and finish his story, and now this year you're booing him. So he's not even needing to say much. He's just needing to say the truth. And I just absolutely love that Cena's biggest rivalry in this farewell tour isn't any wrestler, it's with the fans. Because honestly, that's kind of been the story of his career. That's what his biggest rivalry has been with the fans. It's been having to get the love from, or having to earn the love of the fans, whether that's been in the PG era where it's the Cena's, let's go Cena sucks. When he brought out the spinner belt, a lot of fans hated that. So throughout his whole career, he's been in a bit of an underlying feud with the fans. So I love that this is kind of the focus of his farewell tour. I loved Orton just kind of sneakingly coming up behind him and giving him the RKO. Like Jordy said, that kind of Cena kind of swearing just before he got hit with it kind of made the moment even bigger. I just love, I don't think I've been able to talk about it since his WrestleMania match. I love Cena's presentation. Just, this is someone that before was giving 110% to everything in his character, from entrances, from gear, from what he was doing in the ring, from his promos. And now it's just a completely the opposite. We're just getting the most basic Cena entrance. It's just John Cena in Times New Roman with a black background. And it's just him walking to the ring with no excitement, barely any sort of any kind of barely given any effort into his presentation, which actually makes it perfect. And yeah, I thought this whole segment was just absolutely fantastic. Other than the WrestleMania main event, which I wasn't actually a massive fan of, I'm still extremely looking forward to this John Cena heel run as champion. And the Randy Orton match should be special. Yes, it's going to be a slower pace, like the Cody match, but I feel like it'll work better in an arena because the atmosphere of a hot St. Louis crowd will kind of be able to overcome how bit of a slow pace that the match will be. But yeah, no, this was a fantastic segment. I love the direction we're going in now with Cena and Orton. And I'm fully on board for this rivalry. So yeah.
I completely agree as well. So it does seem like we're all on the same page on this one. It is looking positive. We're excited to see where things go,
Yeah.
despite the fact, obviously, Mania Night 2. I mean, I think you guys preferred it more than I did. I was not a fan with that closing angle at all.
I wasn't a massive fan of. I wasn't a fan of the angle. I wasn't a fan of the match at all. But a Cena title run does extremely interest me. No matter how I feel like the storytelling going into the matches are able to overcome how not bad the match is going to be, but how kind of they're not going to be 5-star classics.
I think as well. Like for me, I've not really had a chance to say it because I reacted live to it at the time, and Cena, it wasn't the greatest match in the world at all, and it was certainly a match that isn't going to appeal to everybody's. It's not going to be everyone's cup of tea for sure. I think the Travis Scott thing was a mess. I think more fingers need to be pointed at Dwayne than that, than Cena, and that's why I've got a bit of a bee in my bonnet a little bit about it, is because I feel like a lot of the blame is getting. I feel like Cena's the scapegoat right now. I don't think he came back and said, "Hey, Triple H, I think the first singles match I should wrestle in my return should be the WrestleMania main event." I don't think he did that. I think he's been put in these positions and said, "Okay, I'll do it," as he's done the rest of his career. And I feel like it's like Cena can't wrestle. That's the thing that we're all focusing on, and it's just like, oh man, there's so much more.
He didn't look great in the ring, though, did he? He was botching quite a bit.
It was ring rust, but no, I'm going to say this about The Rock. I completely agree with Jordy. Is that I actually think he's being a bit pathetic, really, because he's been a bit pathetic because he's coming in. He came in at Bad Blood, put the 3 fingers up, which meant nothing, or maybe it's Moana 3 coming out. He comes in at the Elimination Chamber, says, and he just said today on an interview on the Pat McAfee show that he's coming in. Ari Emanuel called him up because they weren't selling as many tickets for the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view. So a month before the pay-per-view, he came up with I want Cody's soul story, which must have meant that Cena heel turn wasn't actually booked that far in advance. And and the fact that he's made this kind of industry-changing moment and he's just left and they haven't mentioned him.
But is that his fault or Ari Emanuel's?
Well, it's the Rock's because he's got freedom. He doesn't need to say yes. But even if so, yes, you can still turn up at the Elimination Chamber. You don't have some.
I've got a mania as well.
Yeah, but you don't.
He created one of the best moments. To your point,
I don't see now that.
But
I think isn't true either. I think that people saying that The Rock being a part of that Cena heel turn. Cena's heel turn would have been the greatest heel turn of all time, no matter when he did it.
I agree with that. But it was his idea, it seems.
No, it was his. Right, okay. Here we go.
I thought it was Triple H. I thought
they're all claiming it.
Triple H just come out and said, why don't we pull the lever that's never been pulled? That's what he said in an interview. Whose idea was it?
No, but here's the thing. I think maybe it might have been The Rock, and then he kind of put it out there, and then maybe they come to mutual agreement or whatever. But it doesn't change the fact that he came up with this goofy story of wanting Cody's soul, like he's devil or something like that. Like now he's saying on interviews saying, oh, if WWE Superman wants to give me their soul, then I'm all for it, or something like that. It's just, come on, just if I'm being honest, just leave, just go away. Just don't come back unless you actually. I'm being serious. Don't come back. Don't come back unless you're actually going to invest in the storyline that you're doing. Because I don't want him to come in and he just comes in with Travis Scott and he helps Cena turn heel. And now and Cena's saying, what did he help Cena? He's not helping Cena whatsoever. Why did Cena give him his soul? They did not mention that once, and there's a reason for that. It's because they know The Rock's not going to be turning up. So don't come back unless you're going to be actually invested and actually going to be coming back and helping with the storyline. Otherwise, just keep talking about how great WWE is on the TKO board as Dwayne Johnson. Don't come back as The Rock.
And there's something to say to Ari Emanuel as well. Let's go on. Let's talk to Ari as well. You can't just keep calling The Rock if your ticket sales aren't good. And you know what? Do it and don't tell people, because then everyone will miss it. They were like, oh, do you know what I'll do next time? I'll buy a ticket. Otherwise, right now, what they're just going to wait until you announce something big. They're going to be like, oh, well, the show doesn't look that great right now. Let's leave it another month until they actually throw Roman Reigns on the card because they're flapping. And then I might buy a ticket. So it's not a sustainable way to do business in booking. Like, you need to have them surprise moments, to have FOMO, to make people want to tune in that weren't, rather than being like, oh, well, we know what's going to happen.
The thing that got me annoyed at The Rock mostly, and I'll just say this before you go into what you're going to say, Ben, is that he came out and said basically he's going to be at WrestleMania 41, got fans' hopes up, and he wasn't there. If you're gonna look, he said he's going to be there. If you say you're going to be there, then be there. If you're not going to be there, that's fine. But don't go and say to the fans, get their hopes up. You're basically false advertising at that point. You're just saying that you're going to be there when you're not.
See, if he didn't say he was going to be there, he just said to not believe all the rumors about the fact he wouldn't be there.
Oh,
he implied he'd be there. I pretty much agree with you guys, and the comments certainly agree. Just apart, thank you. D6 Warlord says he just wanted to be a part of the shock of their history. Maria says The Rock is becoming the Hogan when it comes to backstage politics. Wow, wow, wow. Sean Ellis says John Cena is now acting like the Hollywood Hogan when he returned. It's like watching a rerun. And
Hollywood Hogan actually showed up.
That's true. Ewan saying, I really want to see Archie tell The Rock, just go away now.
Yeah, dial him in. Yeah. Someone send him a link.
Dwayne in. Clark surely got Dwayne's number.
Get him in just so we can tell him to go away.
No, and he's got his camera set up for the Pat McAfee show. He may as well come in here as well.
So just get him in and then just go away, Dwayne. And then pick him again.
Go away.
First wrestling podcast potentially ever. And it's just a bunch of wrestling fans telling him to go away.
Yeah.
No, I'm sorry. Can I just say, I'm one of The Rock's one of my all-time favorites. I absolutely love The Rock. But I don't love Dwayne Johnson doing what he's doing and coming in WWE and shaking things up for the sake of it, and then just saying to Triple H, "Here you go, Triple H. You sort it out for the rest of it. You sort out how else it works. You sort out my mess."
This leads into my theory because Jordy, you made a point, and Maria made it above as well about Cena turning at Mania. Maybe it is legitimately true that it was Triple H's idea to turn Cena heel, but the original plan was to do it at Mania. And then The Rock came in for this Elimination Chamber stuff and they moved it earlier. Perhaps that genuinely was the case. And that would explain why they printed all this merch for the European tour and had all these graphics. And the second the European tour's over, they're just going black screen.
That is a very good point, actually. And it would also make sense of the European tour being so sporadic.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Whereas now, if you look at his calendar, it's pretty like not every week, but it's more so than it was, I guess. I don't know.
I think there's multiple things that showed us that this Cena heel turn wasn't actually the main plan for his farewell tour. I mean, you look at that big wall of the Thank You Cena wall where people are signing. If the whole plan was for him to turn heel, they wouldn't have had that thing made and have people sign it.
Shout out Anthony Manzano, by the way, because my name's on that wall.
Oh.
But
Shout out Anthony Manzano.
The thing I will say about that though is like a lot of those people aren't involved in like creative or anything, so I don't know if that's necessarily
the case. No, I guess, but it's. I don't know, but
the design teams know nothing until it's too late, really.
Always, I know the design team, but surely people have to give the go ahead for stuff like that. People high up have to give the go ahead to stuff. They
will, but I don't think it's Triple H. I think it's lower down than Triple H, and they said literally only like 4 people knew this heel turn was happening.
The European merch shout that's a real shout. Especially because that farewell tour thing is that not generic, but it's the red graphic that was out before we actually started the tour.
Yeah, right.
That's on the thank you wall. And I do think they're going to turn him back before he goes. So I think they'll have wanted people to give that opportunity. But no, the European merch is a great shout. Like,
yeah. No, that post that you put of Ross and Rachel after he turned heel just shows to me that we're going to get back together before the finale. So
Yeah,
Oh,
just in time. He'll get off the plane.
T6 Warlord says Archie to Dwayne, "Hey Dwayne, go where? Go with me."
I'm not allowed to say that.
Say what Cody said.
Oh,
Hey,
God.
Rob.
Let's talk some Becky Lynch, shall we? Because she returned at WrestleMania, teamed with Lyra Valkyria. They won the Women's Tag Team Championships. Everybody was really, really happy. Last night, Liv and Raquel got a rematch for a reason which nobody, including Michael Cole, understood. And they won it. And then following it, Becky Lynch turned heel on Lyra Valkyria. And it looks like we're going to be having, for the Intercontinental Championship, Lyra versus Becky. Jordy, I want to get your thoughts on all of this.
People are gonna think I'm just enjoying watching the world burn right now, but like I was happy about this too. And the only reason being, I loved Becky's return. I thought this heel turn was gonna actually happen at Mania, or Bayley was gonna get involved and they were gonna lose, because that was the one result at Mania that really kind of shocked me. I did not think they were gonna win. I really didn't think Liv and Raquel were gonna drop the titles. So when I saw this match announced last night, I was kind of thinking like, hey, oh, right, okay. Now it all makes sense in my little brain. And that pleased me. So I'm actually really excited to see Becky as a heel again. Especially now that Seth is as well, kind of. You've already got that question mark going, like, are they a path's gonna cross at any point? Are they gonna align? Is Becky gonna align with Paul and with Bron as well? Obviously, there's a lot of questions, but I just think it's a perfect way for Becky to also lean into this whole Becky Hogan thing that's going on online. It's a way for her to really actually kind of blur the lines a little bit, and especially like it looks like to me she's the one that took out Bayley. So she's going to pretty big extremes just to get her hands on some gold, and she's pretty annoyed when she loses it. So I think it is a way to lean into that a little bit, and that does intrigue me. I'm excited to see what Becky does with it.
The thing is, since the Intercontinental Championship has been introduced, the Women's Intercontinental Championship, it has felt a little bit like an afterthought. But now you're seeing, the fact that obviously Becky's turned on Lyra. We're going to be having that feud for the Intercontinental Championship. You just mentioned Bayley too. We'll probably get Becky versus Bayley for the Intercontinental Championship. So honestly, despite the fact that it feels really random and it definitely hot potato the Women's Tag Team Championships, I think this is phenomenal news for Becky Lynch because it's something new for her. Phenomenal news for the Intercontinental Championship. And also, good news, I guess, for Liv and Raquel because they're now 4-time record holders for the Women's Tag Team Championships as well. But talking about good things, let me talk to you guys about Etsy. You can download the Etsy app on the App Store or Google Play Store and head to the upcoming stream section to see when we do streams. If you don't know what Etsy is, basically, it's a platform where we can do something like we can do what we are doing now, podcasting or whatever, but you guys can get involved. You can put your hands up, you can put your mics on, you can jump in. It's all live. I don't think there's any replays for it. And yeah, you can just jump in the call. You can show your face or just have it audio only. It's a lot of fun. We bring different people in. Clark's really been enjoying doing them. People are going on the streams. They're having a go at Clark for his opinions about Cody or his love for John Cena now. Despite the fact he hated him for so long, it's really, really fun to show you guys. So you can download the Etsy app on the App Store or Google Play Store and head to the upcoming stream section to download that app and see when the next streams are. We're trying to do one every weekend at the minute. But up next, let's talk a little bit about Rusev because I've got some concerns, lads. Listen, I'm thrilled Rusev is back. Absolutely thrilled. Here's the issue. The fact that he returned to take out Alpha Academy makes me think there's no creative plans, there's no creative direction for him, which was the exact same issue he had in 2019 in WWE and the exact same issue he had for his entire run in All Elite Wrestling. Archie, what is your thoughts?
Well, first of all, I think you've been a bit grouchy for one of the best days of the year, Ben. We need to get the champagne out. We need to get the balloons out. We need to get the cake out. you know, because it's Rusev Day. Rusev Day is finally back. But no, I look, I get the maybe the worry that there might not be creative for him, but that's not something that we'll know, or at least we'll if we'll ever know. What I do know is this was a fantastic start for him returning to WWE. I'm somebody that's been a pretty big Rusev fan, a bigger Rusev fan than most, I'd say. I was a massive fan of Rusev Day, but I'm happy that we're getting this kind of Rusev coming back to WWE. A Rusev that's just straight away just demolishing people. He demolished Tozawa, took out Otis, which is no easy feat whatsoever. And I want to see this kind of Rusev in WWE, where he just kind of just goes on a reign of terror and just goes on a really dominant winning streak, and really just kind of build him up. And yeah, I think Rusev for me is I loved Rusev Day. It was great, but to me it was more of a comedy act, and I thought Rusev was a lot more was capable of a lot more. So this Rusev coming back to WWE as more of an evolved version of Miro is the ideal situation for me. But yeah, no, Rusev coming back to WWE, it really interests me. And they need to bring back Lana though, because Rusev's great on his own, but Lana just kind of next by Rusev's side, just adds to him as a wrestler and as a character. But yeah, I absolutely love this opening segment. I don't have any worries about creative as for the time being.
Lana is the best. Lana number one.
You can probably blame Big E for why it maybe looks like he's got no creative direction, because they probably saw him spoil it and just been like, right, get him out, just give him anyone, Otis, you'll do. Right.
I thought when he came out, my first thought was, is he going to attack the New Day to blame them for Big E spoiling his return?
That would have been actually quite good, to be fair.
I thought that's what was going on.
I thought he was going to join the New Day for a second. They've both got Day. They're both associated with days. Yeah. Rusev Day, New Day. You know?
It's a new day for Rusev. Numero 1 says, awesome for Rusev to return to WWE. First thing he should definitely do is take a shot at Tony Khan. Do you know, WWE, I think, have enough former AEW stars now. They have enough former AEW stars now to do a roast of AEW. I think they need to call Tony Hinchcliffe back up. Right?
No, don't let him do it.
Yeah, let him do it. And just have everybody diss him this time too.
Oh, AEW's roast of WWE is on their TV program each week, to be fair. So I mean, there's
a lot of past AEW people that are champions are looking very good right now though in WWE. In all fairness, except
from Andrade. Andrade deserves better. But no, I don't think Rusev's first thing he should do is talk about Tony Khan. I think Tony's had enough criticism from WWE fans with the Tony Fumble chants on NXT every week.
Yeah, that's wild.
The poor guy.
I mean, like, I'm not being funny, but I genuinely listen. I hope I'm wrong here. I think Rusev's going to get lost in the shuffle because there's just not enough time. I think, truthfully, on this for all these wrestlers now. I'm terrified for the likes of Trick Williams when they get called up to the main roster because I don't think they're gonna. There's any real space for them. Carmelo Hayes, somebody who was just ridiculously impressive in NXT, has done next to nothing on the main roster. If we're being honest.
What are you talking about? Melo
he won the Battle Royale.
Melo don't mids.
Sorry, he won the Battle Royale. Yeah, forgot about that. Well, there we are. Then that's good news. It means the next year he's going to do absolutely nothing.
No, you said the curse was broken when we watched it on the stream. We were all together.
Yeah, you did. You lifted the curse, Ben. You lifted the curse. You can't take it back.
Hopefully I'm wrong. Hopefully I am wrong. And that'll link into the next topic, actually. Ewan says, I think we know why Archie really wants Lana back. Sean Ellis says, Rusev versus Braun Strowman or Braun Breaker in the future. I predict. Fernando says, this heel turn should have happened before Mania, so we could have had Lyra versus Becky at Mania. Good point, actually, Fernando. I don't hate that at all. Rusev versus Obafemi, yes, please.
Oh,
A
all
lot of
right.
people
Yes.
are making the point Rusev should have returned to NXT because they need people in the men's singles division. I
Yeah.
wouldn't have hated that at all. I think
just-
that would have actually been fun.
I was just laughing. Jordy just reacted to that like he just found a fiver on the bus.
Oh, all right. No, yeah, that's a good show. It's a good show. Like, you might, what if he could? You said a reign of terror. If he could turn up on NXT tonight and knock a few people down, and then SmackDown and knock a few people down, and you know what I mean, have that kind
Yeah.
of
He can
explosive
smack. He
start.
can smack down a lot of people on SmackDown.
I don't know who's going to be. It'll definitely be Theory and Waller.
Well, perfect transition. Thank you very much, Jordy. Because Austin Theory and Carmelo Hayes are two people who I think could be the fourth man in a potential new version of Evolution. Because last night we saw Bron Breakker shock the world and align himself with Seth Rollins and Paul Heyman. It looks like all signs point towards Breakker and Rollins versus Reigns and Punk at Backlash. But is there a fourth man? Is this a new revolution and new evolution, I should say? Or is this just something completely unrelated? Archie, I'll send this one to you first.
First of all, I want to say this is the perfect way to they started off Raw after Mania in the perfect way. They finished it off in the best way possible. Triple H as a booker has kind of had a tendency to, let's say, do a slow burn on these kind of things. I feel like maybe a year ago, if this segment was happening, Bron Breakker would have speared Roman Reigns, and then Bron and Seth would have had a bit of a oh, I don't know if we should work together type of thing. But no, they just went straight in with it this time, and that's what they should have done. Bron Breakker looked like an absolute beast. And it's not Bron Breakker saying hello to the main event scene. The main event scene saying hello to Bron Breakker. I mean, he's not only going in the main event scene, he's having matches set up with two of the biggest stars in WWE in CM Punk and Roman Reigns. That's not just put up into the main event scene. That's having the rocket strapped to your back. He's going straight to the moon. And this group does feel a bit like Evolution 2.0. Or for me, it feels like a mix between Evolution 2.0 and Seth kind of rebuilding the Shield in his image. I feel like there will be another person to join this group, as there probably should be, even though Seth and Bron as a trio, as a duo with Heyman by their side isn't the worst thing in the world. And I've seen a lot of people online saying maybe there should be a tag team and a women's wrestler to join the group, as that's what a lot of factions have nowadays. I'm not too sure about that personally, although I did see somebody, I can't remember who it was online, so I'm sorry I couldn't remember your username, but they did say they kind of thought, what if Bronson Reed and Jeff Cobb joins them and is that kind of tag team and that kind of group. But no, I feel like there is going to be one more person to join this group. I feel like there should be another person. It's not crowded at the very least at the minute. And I've got a few names in my head. Carmelo Hayes, like you mentioned, Ben, is one. Austin Theory, I didn't actually really think about, but it would make a lot of sense. One person I just mentioned, which I don't feel like a lot of people have mentioned, is Bronson Reed. I feel like him coming back from injury and joining that group would be awesome. But the guy I want to see join this group and kind of be... At the minute, we've got Seth, who's the leader of this, the kind of Triple H of this group. Bron's the Batista, if you will. I feel like maybe the Randy Orton of this group can be Ethan Page. I'd like to see Ethan Page join this group. Obviously, it's not a like for like, thing with Randy Orton, like and like switch for Randy Orton. But I feel like Ethan Page is somebody that should be pushed heavily when he gets to the main roster. I don't think he gets enough credit. I don't think he gets enough love for actually how good he is. He's someone I review NXT every week. He's come into NXT. A lot of people had reservations about it. He's absolutely smashed their reservations out of the park. And I feel like him joining a group like this is kind of perfect, to be honest. So I would really love to see Ethan Page be the next person to join this group and be the next Paul Heyman guy. But this whole segment was just fantastic. It was best for business, as Triple H likes to say. And this was Triple H in his element when he's not got the Rock in his ear.
I rarely disagree with you, Archie, but I'm going to have to disagree with you here on
No,
Ethan Page, because these factions come around, we know it, once a decade, right? It's a once a decade type faction when it is a big deal. Like, we expect this one to be at the very least. And WWE currently has a massive issue. We've been talking about it the last couple of weeks, where basically, not even exaggerating, over half their roster is saying they're retiring in like the next 5 years. It is a humongous issue which they have gotten. And listen, I know people, joke about, I make jokes about me saying the age stuff and all that. But jokes aside, Ethan Page could go to the main roster. He could become a star on the main roster. But in this spot, in this big of a spot, I think we need to be putting somebody who's 30 oldest. You in Evolution, I knew Batista was a bit older, obviously, but look, that actually backfired on them long term. But Randy Orton was a lot younger. Ethan Page is about to turn 36. Like, it's
true.
he is quite old, and he could still do great things, but I just don't think he should be given this much of a spotlight when it's a once a decade opportunity.
No, I don't really. I understand what you're coming from, but if we're gonna talk about age, then maybe somebody that's just debuted on NXT, Ricky Saints wouldn't be the worst guy
He's
to
not much
join
younger,
this group.
is he? I think he's
like-
about the same age.
Is he not? Is he? I swear he's a lot younger than Ethan Page.
No, he's he's 5 months younger.
He's not a lot
He's
younger.
still
Okay, I'll take
35,
that.
yeah.
I'll take that back. But no, I don't think the age thing is a massive issue. But I do get where you're coming from. Is that if we're going to do Evolution 2.0, it should be kind of Seth taking two fairly young guys under his wing, two guys that can be pushed into the main event scene, like Randy Orton
For
and
the next
Batista
2
were.
decades.
Yeah,
Probably the next 2 decades. Create the stars like the Shield did. Like you said, a mix of the Shield and that. Create two guys now who can be two main eventers for years and years to come. David likes the Bronson Reed idea. Fernando wants to see Drew join the faction. You know what? I'm going to read this comment out. David Hall has just weirdly commented, WWE then, now, forever. Let's start.
Yeah, I saw it and I said, I don't know. No, confused. If you want, we'll all time it.
I don't really.
Why?
Okay.
Fernando says he's excited for it. It's going to be amazing. Bronson is not joining Seth. He saw his Twitter. Caden said,
I swear he teased he was joining Seth. Another name, sorry, before you go to Jordy, Nathan Fraser.
I like that one a lot more.
If he hits the Shield chair with, imagine Seth turns up tonight on NXT, he hits the Shield chair on Axiom and breaks my heart, and we lose Fraxium forever, which is we'll just put that to the side, and Nathan Fraser joins that faction. I know,
please no.
I mean, I know, but he would be a pretty good addition.
Numero one, I also said Omos as well. That is a great shout. But Jordy, what about you? Who do you want to see join this faction if you think anybody's joining?
Me. I think it should be me. No, I'm joking. If I had to pick someone in the WWE, actually picking outside of WWE for a second, MJF would be, if I could dream pick someone to throw in with these guys, it would be MJF. But I can't, unfortunately. I think Orba is a really good shout. I know Bron's a powerhouse, but he's also very fast. He doesn't move like what a giant does, So I don't know. I know he looks like more of a Batista in the way he is, in the way he wrestles, but in terms of the role he's going to play, I think that if we're doing a kind of an evolution, I think that Bron will be more in that kind of Randy. Like you said, I think that's the one. No matter who this other person is that joins this faction, I think the bigger rocket is going to get strapped to Bron Breakker. I think he's the one that's going to come out of this looking the best, because I think he's probably going to be the one that comes out of this with Paul Heyman. But yeah, I don't know. Does it need one? I don't even know. I think I'd like to see one purely for the sake of Survivor Series. I know we've dropped War Games now, but I think we are probably heading to see a big kind of faction warfare situation. One that I would love to see, but it's probably not going to happen now, is Jacob Fatu. I think
Oh, yeah.
he's a
That'd be
different.
cool. That'd be cool.
Imagine Bron and Jacob stood next to each other, like, and I think they can have a little tag run as well. I think eventually one of them or both of them should be in the main event scene and the singles titles. But I think at first, I think I'd like to see Bron and someone maybe go on a little tag run, because like, look what Bron did with Baron Corbin in the tag division. Like, no, and that's no disrespect to Baron Corbin, but I just mean we know Bron can go in the tag division, and not only that, make it one of the things on the card that you're really looking forward to and want to watch. So I would say give him a go in there. But if I had to put money on someone, I think it Oba. I don't know why I say that, but I can just see them all stood together. And if I was Seth, looking at the roster, looking at who I could kind of bait in to be part of this faction, I'd find it hard, especially looking for the future, to be looking at other people than having Bron Breakker on one side of me and Obafemi on the other. I think you're pretty good going.
Yeah.
I think Carmelo too, but I just feel like he's got his own thing going on with Miz. Not that it's the same level of storyline, but I feel like Oba could get that as a call up. But Arch Bronson Reed is a great shout. I was thinking the same thing, especially when you throw the injury in, so we could have the return. So yeah,
Well, also,
I agree. There he is. No, go on.
No. I was gonna say also that actually makes a lot of sense, because if the Heyman guys are feuding with Punk and Roman, why did Bronson Reed get injured? It's because Punk pulled Roman out of the way. Well, it's not really because of Punk pulled Roman out of the way, but you can make that argument. You can make that argument
because he jumped off the top of a cage.
But the one thing I will say is, right, I love the Obafemi shout, and I mean that I do think would be perfect. But the only thing is I'd love it, but I reckon Obafemi will be just as over without it. When you have other guys on that main roster already, Austin Theory, Omos, Carmelo Hayes, and there's a lot more too, who are very young. They've got so much potential. They've got 2 decades left in this business, and they're not being utilized. So this could be a way to, revive somebody's career almost.
You've actually turned me onto the idea of Austin Theory joining that group, because I feel like he's actually the perfect guy to because there's other guys like Jacob Fatu and Obafemi, like we mentioned. They are guys that could easily get over on their own. We're at kind of the brink with Austin Theory, where we're at the bottom of the barrel now, where we have to find something for him, because there's a lot of potential there. You made a video on it like a few weeks ago, or a month ago, whenever it was. I feel like this is actually, I think you're right. This is actually probably the perfect time for.
I worry that he'd end up being a solo, though. I had to worry that he'd end up being the one that goes against the person before they fight Seth at a PLE. Do you know what I mean? The one that just has to keep taking the L's as people
they just have to book him better than that, though.
Yeah,
true.
They can. They can.
I think he'll be funny as well. That's my thing with Theory. I'm ready for him to actually show his funny side, because he has got it, and I think that could actually do him some favors with the fans.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I think the person that needs to join it really, though, should be going on a dominant mid-card title reign. So Austin Theory to me is the perfect guy for that, I think.
Well, there's a lot of options, and it is undoubtedly going to be a lot of fun. But that does bring us to the end of the show today. Thank you to everybody who's been commenting along. We really do appreciate you watching. We will be back same time, same place tomorrow to talk the Triple R acquisition and all of that. So make sure to tune in. Thank you to Archie, and thank you to Jordy in the Bank for joining me here today. We will see you guys in the next one. Peace.